Revive my soul, oh, give me
John
the
chapter
pure heart
12,
to serve
starting
you.
around verse
All
number
that
10.
I ask of
But the
thee.
chief priest had decided to kill Lazarus also, because he was the reason many of the Jews were deserting them and believing in Jesus. This text focuses on an intriguing and intense moment in the life of Jesus where the chief priests had made the shocking decision to kill his friend Lazarus. Lazarus had been raised from the dead by Jesus, becoming a living testimony to Jesus' power and divinity. Many people were coming to see not just Jesus, but also Lazarus. And as a result, many were turning away from the teaching of the chief priests and following Jesus instead. What's remarkable here is that the chief priests themselves didn't seem to question the reality of what had happened to Lazarus. They didn't deny that a miraculous event had taken place, but rather than being led to faith, their jealousy and self-preservation took over. Lazarus, who didn't ask to be a part of this conflict, became a target simply because his restored life pointed to the undeniable truth of Jesus' mission. This situation reveals the destructive power of selfish ambition. The chief priests were so consumed with maintaining their influence and power that they were willing to plot against an innocent man and ultimately led the charge against Jesus himself. They saw Lazarus' resurrection not as a reason to believe, but as a threat to their control. Their actions were not driven by faith, but by fear of losing their status. This story serves as a cautionary tale for us today. When others are blessed, or when God's work in someone's life challenges our assumptions or plans, we must guard our hearts against jealousy and selfishness. Instead of fighting against what God is doing, we should align ourselves with His will. The same power that raised Lazarus from the dead is the power that raised Jesus and works in our lives today. Let us ensure that we're not standing in opposition to God's purposes, but celebrating and supporting His work, even when it disrupts our expectations.